Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back to my latest video as we have wrapped up October and we're heading, full steam into November here, which is when most people start to begin their Christmas celebrations, just as many people start getting going on their Halloween celebrations once 1st of September hits. Some people like to celebrate those holidays a little bit early, and I am one of them. But before I dive into this very little bit about Nightmare Before Christmas, let's look back at October on the channel. So somehow I got around to making 12 videos, which is a bit much for me, and they performed pretty well, all things considered. Now, the first one being that longer one that I did about Halloween from '78, and then the 3 Blumhouse entries, that kind of followed it, which, I feel really doing that binge in like one day really made me enjoy Halloween Kills and Ends much better. And I even got the chance this past weekend to talk to Andy Matichak, who's in those 3 films, about it at a convention called Spooky Empire. Really sweet person. And then after that, I did a video about, Lords of Salem as well, which at another con at Spookala, I got to speak with one of those stars, Jeff Daniel Phillips. Really cool conversation on that film too. And I also made some videos which just kind of did okay, especially like the ones for Creepshow Parts 1 and 2, and the video on the Munsters. I didn't really expect the Munsters to do good at all, but, there's reasons for that. But really surprisingly was Interview with the Vampire Season 1. Now, I don't think I've done any TV show kind of reviews lately, or if at all, on the channel, but that one did really well, as did the one for the Pumpkin Man, which was really surprising because it's just a low-budget little indie film shot here in Florida. I really thought it wouldn't get much traffic, but it did really well, and I also got to meet up with some of the people from Pumpkin Man again this weekend at Spooky Empire. It's really cool, and they seemed very appreciative of the video as well. Then there were some weird issues on the channel, and it was just some videos just tanking completely, such as Repo the Genetic Opera and Talk to Me, both hitting about 8 views and then just dying. There were other content creators that I found on Twitter/X and in other parts of YouTube talking about the same thing, where there's some weird algorithm issue happening where some videos were just tanking for some reason. So took those ones down and I ended up reposting them last week, which is why I had 4 videos shoved into that last week of October. And let's see, we also had among those what I still say is one of the most beautiful ghost stories ever for Crimson Peak, so be sure to check out that one, and as well as one of the best shows I've seen in a long time, and definitely one that I feel is the best of Mike Flanagan's work, which is A Fall of the House of Usher, which, I did that video mainly because Interview with the Vampire did well, so I figured if people really want to see other stuff related to shows, I'll throw one in every now and then. And then, of course, I ended the month with a really dumb film, in the best way, Totally Killer. A lot of fun. That was the last video that I did, so be sure to check that one out. But as I mentioned, I got out to both Spookala and Spooky Empire this month, and they were really a lot of fun. They had a lot of cool vendors there, a lot of cool guests. Got to talk with a lot of them. They even picked up this little Sunspin CD here. It's Michael Rosenbaum's band. I figured I'm not really one for paying for autographs and pictures that much. I just like to meet somebody, chat with them for a few minutes. But since he was selling some merch, I decided to go ahead and pick something up. But also, for the month, I did see a lot of films that I didn't actually end up making any videos about, such as when I was at Spooky Empire, I finally picked up The Exorcist on Blu-ray. Hadn't seen that one in a long time. Held up great. Slow in a couple spots, but still really good movie. I also finally got to check out The Nun Part 2, which I liked better than the first one. It was okay. Nothing great. I also watched a couple that were witchcraft based, but really not horror, that being Practical Magic. Gotta watch something sappy every now and then, as well as The Witches of Eastwick, which is just a lot of fun, great cast. And I also worked in Heathers, which was another one I've been wanting on Blu-ray for a while. Definitely more of like a teen angst kind of film than anything else, but there is a serial killer in it, so it's kind of like horror. But yeah, with some of the other shows I've been watching lately have been Creepshow Season 4, has been great so far. I'm just a couple episodes in. Same thing with a new show called John Carpenter's Suburban Screams. This one's like based on true stories, kind of like a recounting of different tales that had happened, and then they reenact some parts of it. But yeah, and also I checked out the Pet Sematary prequel called Bloodlines. Now this is a prequel to the remake, so if you're trying to figure out like the ages of some of these characters in, I believe, the late 60s, it was all right. It wasn't great, definitely wasn't amazing, but it's worth checking out. It definitely had some good points in it. And of course, there were a lot of titles kind of thrown in as well from the last drive-in. But now let's move on to Nightmare Before Christmas. A little quick blurb on this one. So I did a video about 2 years ago of Nightmare Before Christmas from 1993, how initially I really didn't care for that film, but as you can see, I changed my mind on that. I eventually came around to it, but for this one, I just wanted to talk about how there's a lot of discussion about whether it's a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie. Some kind of usher in the whole spooky season of Halloween with a viewing of this, because a lot of it takes place in Halloween Town, so there's a lot of Halloween aspects to it. And but for me, this has actually always been more of a Christmas movie, because I figure it begins with Halloween ending, and then Jack kind of discovering Christmas Town, being wowed by it, deciding to bring Christmas to Halloween Town. So the focus feels all about him kind of understanding Christmas and trying to reproduce it. To me, it's always been a Christmas focus, of what's going on in Halloween Town. And, sure, by the end of it, he kind of realizes that his obsession over reproducing Christmas is making him forget everything wonderful about Halloween and Halloween Town. And it kind of helps him, reignite his passion for being the Pumpkin King. But for the most part, I always see this one as a Christmas movie, and I was wondering what you thought. So go ahead and sound off in the comments on that. Because this one isn't just a Christmas movie for me, but it's also, one that I try to watch within that first week after Halloween. So for instance, this week, November 1st, I was taking down all the Halloween decorations, and I put on Nightmare Before Christmas because I kind of consider that like a transition movie of mine, where once Halloween is ending, I'll put this one up, take down the different decorations, and kind of get ready for the Christmas season. Because, although I do focus a lot on horror on this channel, and some of the 80s throwbacks and occasional newer film and all that, and I do watch horror all year, but when October comes around, I kind of amp that up a lot, where I'm almost exclusively watching horror. There will be some other titles here and there, but there's just a lot of horror there. And, then when I kind of head into November and December, I work in a little bit more of those holiday films, and some of those will also be horror related. But, I'm definitely ready to kind of embrace what's going on for Christmas. Even some of those cheesy ones, like some of those Hallmark ones I occasionally get into, but that might just be because of an enduring and long-standing crush that I have on Alicia Witt that started sometimes in the early 90s. But anyways, that's completely off point here. I'm not sure what Christmas-related films I'm going to try to work in, this season for the channel. I know I do want to rewatch Violent Night, so that's, I already did a video on that one. But I might want to check out one of the remakes of Black Christmas. I believe they did 2 of those remakes. And of course, the next installment in Silent Night, Deadly Night franchise. I did the first one last year. I've actually never seen any of the sequels. I believe they have 3 sequels. I think there's at least 4 of them. And I know there's more out there, and that's another thing to sound off in the comments about. Any Christmas-related movies, especially Christmas-related horror movies that you feel I should check out. Maybe I'll be able to, work those in somewhere. Anyways, to wrap this up, I just want to say thanks for coming by for October, and if you're not subscribed already, please consider subscribing to see what I have coming right around the corner here. And I will see you in the next one.